Yeah, since you don't have anything else to do right now. We find ourselves, at the beginning of the spring, thankfully at the end of a dreadfully long winter, and over the course of the next few months leading into the summer and then into the fall, literally tens of thousands of mostly young people in our country will find themselves in the same place that you are right now, getting married. And I don't, please bear with me for just a moment. The tragic side of all of this is that only 50% of them are going to make it. So I want to just take a moment to give you at least my thought on why that might be. The word that we just heard from the scripture regarding the word love, the New Testament is written in Greek, Old Greek, and there were several words that they had for the word love. This particular word that's used, again, in the reading that we heard, it refers to a kind of self-sacrificial love. And what it means is this. In the context of marriage, it means that this day, you are standing before folks and saying that you love one another. What the word means that we heard was, I love you so much that I am prepared to sacrifice my desires to please you. So that when two people are doing that, it works well. That's even the passage we heard from Ephesians about the role of the husband and the role of the wife. Both of them have, frankly, the responsibility to love one another sacrificially. So I would say maybe one of the reasons that 50% of folks won't make it is because, to be quite honest with you, they don't love one another the way that they need to. I'm not saying they don't love each other. It's just that they're not prepared to sacrifice for one another. So the truth of the matter is this, and I say this to you as a confession. My generation, frankly, knows almost nothing of sacrifice. Your generation knows less. Okay? So, going into this relationship that's going to require you to sacrifice for one another, I'm just going to say to you, you need to learn quickly. Okay? So, there's three things I want to share with you. The second, Ryan, is a word to you. If I were to take a poll of all of the ladies who are here who are married, and maybe they've been married for a little while, and if the poll was confidential and they knew nobody was going to find out about how they answered this particular question, here's one of the things they would say. They would say this: before we got married, my husband did everything right. He remembered dates, he got me flowers, he got me candy, he was Mr. Romance, right? However, on the day of the wedding, that guy disappeared and he never came back, right? Ryan, listen to me. And by the way, to the men who are here, it's not too late for you either, okay? Ryan, listen to me. Never, 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 and put as many nevers on there as you need to emphasize this, never stop courting Crystal. Okay? Never stop courting her. Right? You're here now because of that, right? Never stop courting her. And Crystal, I want to say something to you about men that you don't know, and I'm going to guess many of the women here might not know this as well. There's something that Ryan needs to hear from you over and over and over again, just like a child needs candy, okay? And it's not just Ryan, it's men in general. But we don't tell anybody this, okay? Here's what men need to hear, and they need to hear it from their wives. We need to know that we're appreciated. Not nagged at, okay? But that we are appreciated. So when you think about your life with Ryan and all of the things you're going to do together, even when you want to kill him, he needs to know that he's appreciated by you, okay? And then the last thing I want to do is tell you a story. When I was in seminary, I had a professor in this one particular class, and he grew up in Maine. And he must have been about 10 years old when this event occurred. And he was in rural Maine. And it was an area of the country that in a time when, in this case, young people got married, they moved in with one of their parents. And so often houses weren't big enough, and so they would just build an addition onto the house to accommodate the new couple or the new family that had just, again, gotten married. So that had happened in his home numerous times. So the configuration of the house was a little odd. So as a child, he had to walk through his grandparents' bedroom to get to his bedroom. And his grandfather had a respiratory illness. And so he couldn't lay down to sleep because his lungs would fill with fluids. And so he had to sleep sitting up. So the way that this couple slept was she would sit behind him with pillows around her, holding her up. And he sat in front of her, and she put her arms around him and held him up. All night long. And so he said it wasn't unusual for him to walk through their room and to see that his grandmother and grandfather were sitting in bed, her holding up her husband. So again, he was about 10 years old, and he walked through their room. And his grandmother looked at him and just said, again, they were in bed there, and his grandmother said, "Your grandfather passed away this morning." And our professor looked at us, and with tears streaming down his face, he said, "That's the way it's supposed to be." My hope and my prayer for the two of you is that many, many, many years from now, long into the distance, when many of us here are gone, that people will say about Ryan and Crystal, they did it the way it was supposed to be done. Can we bow our heads for a moment, please?